And we are live. Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, happy time zones wherever you might be. I'm Emma, and welcome back to the House of Hubris here on twitch.tv/Saracent. And welcome, delicious friends, once again to Mask of the Rose. Getting in just before I forget mostly, that this is once again technically SpawnCon. This key was provided by the great folks over at Fail Better Games. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. And I am really enjoying it so far. Last time we had, if you missed last time, we were staying in a boarding house in London in the 1832, something like that. No, wait, it's mid-Victorian, so like 1860 something. Yeah, and then the entire city was stolen by millions of bats and taken underground. If you know the Fallen London mythos at all, this is, like, much earlier. This is letting you actually experience the fall and its immediate effects. And if you don't know the lore, I think it works anyway, but I will also probably be doing lore drops throughout, because it's difficult for me not to, because I will be playing this contextualized through somebody who has played every game they've made and gone usually quite extensively into the lore. So I guess spoilers for that, but you should play them anyway. There was something else I was going to mention. Can't remember what it was. So yes, and we're doing the census and having people flirt with us. And dressing well, and Archie, our Scottish friend who does not sound remotely Scottish because I'm bad at that accent, has just been arrested is the general word for murder. Also, I wanted to start us off on this because on this page because there's a fun new bit in this menu. You see sigils. I noticed on the Steam overlay that the icons for all the sigils, for all the achievements, were correspondence sigils, and if you go into the sigils menu, you can see the ones you've got etched on the skin of the Bazaar, which is cool. And, yeah, for those of you who don't know, again, correspondence it's the language of the stars who are, like, eldritch beings whose word is whose word and whose light is literally law. And they're one of the reasons the Bazaar is underground. And it's a kind of eldritch, unknowable language, but what we do know of it is all the sigils are extremely complex and have very specific meanings with a lot of kind of symbolism and interpretation in them. For example, here we have the perilous descent without cessation. Yes, because not only do you get these etched onto the Bazaar, you can get more information. This sigil can be interpreted as the cessation of flight in freefall or the world burned on its axis. So again, yeah, they all have a bunch of kind of phrases that they mean, but that's because they mean the kind of grander unifying concept between them. Like there's one that gets used a lot that's two entities endlessly falling towards each other, which is used to refer to both gravity and love. It's very neat. It's very much the kind of linguistic nerdery I enjoy. And this is the Forge of Souls, can be interpreted as the chance construction of permanence, or the union of precious objects. So there you go, this is how you write found family in the eldritch language of star beings. Just in case you ever wanted to do that. It'd be a rad tattoo, though. I mean, basically all sigils would be a rad tattoo. I would have so many tattoos if I could, let's be real. We all know this now. Same brain? Yeah, I know. As I was saying, I was like, hey, you know who else would think this? Anyway, should we just get back into the game without me, you know, just reading chat and reading chat? 10th of June, 20... Yes, that's the real life date. For some reason, I was expecting that to be the in-game date. I was like, wait, 2023? That's like 200 years after when this happened. Oh yeah, that's now. I'm incredibly smart. still think this looks like the Ubisoft logo. Right, let's check our journal and see what we were doing. Ah, yes, we need someone powerful enough to intervene on Archie's behalf after he's been arrested, so either use Grizz as a way to get in with the Masters, or get Harjit to refer me to the Devils, and I think we all know where my loyalties lie in that particular dichotomy. I need 5 more pence, but if I just turn in these census pages, that should be enough. If I visit Archie, I can find out how to reach his publisher directly to make up lies and just file them with the publisher. I need 1 more census page for pages. I need to stalk Harjit in disguise. I do not yet have a disguise, and I have no money for a disguise. Very merry a mistake forged into triumph to you two. Yep, that's my life. So, things we could do. Go to the bazaar, give pages more forms. Go to the prison ship, try and have sex with Archie, see if he needs anything, or get his editor's details. None of these have exclamation points. I could go here and buy things off Ivy, the posh Cockney sex worker. I can try and stalk Harjit, but I do not yet have a disguise. Ask him to show me a route, see whether he needs anything. Could go to church to make out with the vicar. I don't think we said we were going to make out with the vicar, let's be real. I could go check on Horatia. There's so many options. I mean, we want another census page before we go and turn them in, because we may as well do it all at once, because it will take the same amount of time anyway. So I think the thing, maybe ask Harjit to show me a route. Maybe he'll show me to Devils, and then maybe I can interview one of the Devils for another page. This is a perfect plan. Harjit demands duty, but does not always care for the ministry. Yeah, let's take the badge off. I should change. Let's put the corsage on, because if I do end up running into Devils, they'll appreciate that. No credential but my own confidence. That's me again. Let's do it. And now let's see how many people's voices I even slightly remember. Good afternoon, miss. I trust you're as well as can be expected. Flirt? No! We are literally looking for his boyfriend. Mention the shuttering of the palace or come straight to the point. Chat? I recount the newspaper story. Her Majesty hasn't been seen outside since the fall, and the palace has been shuttered up. Oh. A few people have turned up claiming to be escaped servants, but it's hard to say whether this is true. I made the story as engaging as I can, plenty of detail and a fair sprinkling of dramatic pauses. I don't know what to make of that. I express relief that the old ways are gone, yo. I speak a moment about how much this is a chance to form new ways. Because, I mean, like, this man is a gay man of colour and possibly Sikh, so, you know, would also probably benefit from the old ways of Victorian London being gone. I speak a moment about how much this is a chance to form new ways. Harjit nods along and even finishes a few of my sentences for me. We turn to the price of mushrooms, the difficulty of finding fuel. These are the subjects that people discuss in the Neath in order to avoid talking about teeth and snakes and the occupants of our dreams, who are also snakes. New destinations. Yes, the Devil's Townhouse. Have you seen any devils? If by that you mean the people with yellow eyes. Yeah. They have taken over a townhouse. That way. He points out a direction. You can see them coming and going sometimes. And the occasional vicar standing outside to stare in. Harjit shows me the way, as he did before. At certain points, he makes me look up at the stalactites above and fix their relationship in my mind. They sparkle with something other than stars. Don't treat the stars like constellations. They do not stand still. Yeah, false stars underneath are a thing. They say this place is inhabited by devils, or alternatively, people with yellow eyes and a warm handshake. One of the two. Or both of the two. At least one of the two. Harjit takes a look at the devil's doorstep and raises his eyebrows. It's plain he has no taste for this company, so I say goodbye and go on alone. Their door knocker is made of brass. Unreasonably warm brass. And it's shaped like the head of a goat. The attendant is human enough, but she refuses to answer any questions. I wait in a very old-fashioned wooden chair. I keep feeling that the armrests are nipping at my wrists. I'm invited inside at last. Just scanning through voices I haven't used yet. Ah, what's this? I think you may have become lost, miss. Angle to impress the ladies with lies. Gamble that she says that shares my sense of humour. Joke. Those are the same thing. Gamble. Big money, no whammies. I'm Sarah. I go by Milton. I dislike forenames. You may address me as Virginia. Oh, Mum. I'm human. Once I walked under the open sky. If you can't say the same, at least break the horrible truth to me gently, will you? They both fall extremely still. Yet, my sense of humour does not seem to align with the general meaning of that word. I'm not sure that they breathe. They're probably more likely to respect ministry credentials than just saying I have questions, but also I don't have my badge on me. Yeah, tell the truth. I don't have my badge with me, but I'm collecting census information for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. You may have mistaken your authority. The masters do not direct us. It will not take long. We are in the middle of a delicate matter. Come now, Virginia. Wouldn't you find it entertaining to learn what the masters are asking? I admit to significant curiosity. Just what does the Ministry hope to learn about you and me that it doesn't already know? Then ask, and be prompt, Sarah. And if this proves a waste of our time, Milton, you will owe me your good hunting horn. Again, ask a critical question in a reassuring way. I don't get the vibe there, and also, let's not waste time here. Who else lives in your household? I reside alone. You have servants? I do. Several. I had assumed that they would not be counted as persons. Wow. You must trust me on this sort of thing, Virginia. I've had more time to learn London's customs. And you frequently entertain overnight visitors? Never for very long. I have a maidservant, a housekeeper, and 3 drones. Footmen? Yes. Footmen. Oh, do we try and do a funny? Do we try and read the question as written? I mean, that's kind of a trademark of mine in other things, so yeah, I think we've got to. Are you enamorificated or impassionated? Milton lets out a startled laugh. Ha! An Interesting question. Several persons have believed themselves to be romantically attached to me. Will that do?
You're not engaged to any of them?
Of course not.
And not married, that I can safely rule out.
Definitely not married.
I turned my senseless curiosity on Virginia. Virginia is a fine name. Fashionable. One tries to accommodate the local culture. That is, one tries until it becomes too much bother.
Our friend implies that the name does not distinguish you from the common or garden variety, Virginia. You might benefit from a poetic epithet. Amber-eyed Virginia, for instance. London poets have a taste for that kind of thing. Brass-shod Virginia. You must ensure that it scans.
Oh, I mean, scans with what? You can do a lot of things with meter, Milton. Do not write that down.
Virginia of the Cloven Hoof.
That's a magic card. Definitely not.
Pity.
I turned my sense of curiosity on Virginia. We just did that. We've got to keep reading as written. Are you enamorificated or impassionated? I have no romantic involvements that you need report to your employers. For a moment, no one speaks.
Work?
Ask about the purpose of the building, ask about his work here, use the question as a chance to flirt. I mean, I feel like flirting with him in front of Virginia would be a bad move, just because she would somehow use it to murder us. Also, it may be a bad move in general. Let's hold off for the moment. What sort of business is typically done here? Diplomacy. Commerce.
Contracts are written and signed.
Gathering of information.
So whether they're solicitors, it's an academic business, or are you a spy? You have to tell me if you're a spy. I mean, just from what they've said, solicitors? I mean, I, Emma, know the answer, but hey. Contracts? Are you solicitors?
Those who solicit.
The term implies some engagement with the law.
London law.
An inferior product, I agree.
Is that all correspondence in the back on the back wall? I mean, it looks like it, yeah. We are not solicitors. This line of questioning is proving more difficult than I anticipated. I am keen to hear about your business, all the same. Yeah, I'm perfectly reliable with everything forever. Lie, lie, lie. Before Judgment Day, I was the trusted major domo to the richest man in England. Oh? I've seen very odd things, and kept my own counsel about them all. Your assurances have a certain counterfeit quality. You have now taken as much time as we can spare. At least you don't say whatever you are thinking, like most of London. But dishonesty is not alluring in itself, so pray don't feel I will pine for you in your absence. Not sure what that was. Oh! One second. Why does my mute button not work? Okay, I'll use this mute button instead.
Sorry about this, I was waiting on a doctor's call and was gonna keep my phone in view for this stream, and forgot to do that for 10 minutes, and of course that was when they called, so just seeing if I can get back to them. Apologies for the interruption. And I can talk now because they have an incredibly long automated message when you call them. Love that for us. Yeah, like I say, they seem like the type to have a vaguely apocalyptic amount of correspondence plaques just hanging on the wall. And I'm actually back. Hello. Sorry about that. Love how actually physically possible it is to speak to a doctor in this country. Well, no, let's be real, it's not this country. I don't have the best GP surgery in the world, but also good luck finding a new one. Anyway, yeah, I'll not bitch about that too much right now. Let's get back to it. Now, am I interested in Virginia? My opinion remains to be seen. I've only just met these people. I shake my head to clear it. The ruminations are gone. All as it was. Yeah, that does look like it's all... Is that correspondence, or is that, like, old Chinese? Hard to say at this scale. It's getting late, so I'm heading back home. Change clothes before dinner? Nah, I think I'm dressed for dinner. I have discovered Virginia. Just like British people have a history of doing. feels wrong not having Archie at his seat. Why is that the one voice I can 100% reliably drop back into?
We'll have him home again soon. It's not as simple a matter as I hoped, but we'll get to it.
Best we eat, and not dwell on it. We need our strength if we're to do anything. The vicar's got a new spring in his step. His sermon today was calling for practical action. Said something about faith alone not being enough. I'm no learned doctor of the church, but I feel we had a reformation over this very issue. Yeah, you did. Just there's no hope down here. Chide her for doubting him, or don't get involved. I think if your landlady starts having opinions about religious orthodoxy at the dinner table, you just eat your dinner. Indeed. No one speaks for a moment.
I tried walking down to Parliament once, that is, to the remains, but I couldn't get to it.
Why you go to Parliament? What are you looking for there? The landlady I'm still in debt to. Yeah.
I want to see what became of it. When I ask Mr. Pages, it gives me very confused accounts. And it's not just that my uncle was there on the day of the fall. It seems to me that someone wanted it done away with. The rest of London didn't end up in the river. So I can't help thinking it was put there on purpose.
Yes, almost like getting rid of the government while you're installing a new regime works.
I did try asking Harjit. He said he wouldn't take me because it was difficult and would take a long time. I don't suppose you could find the way.
Agree out friendly, agree, or yeah, I get it. Nah, sure. Of course I will.
Thank you. You're a good egg. At least that's what my former fiancée used to say. Griselda, you're a good egg.
See, now that you... It was good. It was like, that was a nice compliment right up until you framed it in terms of your ex-husband and said it in a sarcastic way. Now I just feel like I'm being made fun of. Guide Grizz to the ruins of Parliament. Eat your food. I chew diligently. There are no more mushrooms on my plate. And that's how you know the conversation has finished. To sleep. A chance to sleep. Aye, that's the sleep. 265 days since the fall, one day remains in the season of confessions. The traditional song of this time of year. Another morning, another newspaper. Grizz bought one, and the headlines read, Masters announce increased biscuit rations for hungry Londoners. I mean, the British Empire did largely run on biscuits, so that's fair, at least, I suppose. Before we go out, we can have a flashback. Flashback, flashback. Yeah. I reach for another memory out of that jumbled grab bag. Things I sometimes remember from that night, impossible things I can recall. Harjit checked on us. There was a stranger across the way. Or storm long before the fall. It doesn't say a storm. This intrigues me. Is this storm as, like, a mass noun? Or is this referring to other deeper lore bits? The memory of lightning flashes, and the memory of rain covers my face. I'm back above, a summer downpour. All the horses and their riders huddled under the rail bridge. All the saplings bent to kiss the soil. Not just any summer, but a June evening when I was 15. And though I have not thought of it since, and though I will never see the like again, that storm, for a moment, was truth itself.
and our present cavern is embarrassed to be seen through an illusion.
Cavern of Illusions? Calm down, Plato. Right, let's get into our official badge, because I think we should go and handle this in and get so paid. What can we do at the townhouse? See whether they need anything, or... Ah, yes, just start giving my stories about the ministry to Virginia. Don't suppose she is Archie's publisher. That would make sense, to be honest. Provide Mr. Page with additional census forms while Grizz is absent. The badge will eliminate any expectation of a social visit. I mean, I'm going to my employer. On official business, so... Grizz has already shown me once how to visit the ministry. It's not hard for me to return on my own. Mr. Page is at his... desk when I come in.
Undercarn Grizz has been agitated. She requested that we intervene in a matter of the Crown Court. This is not our custom. The justice of London concerns many things that do not interest us. In fact, Undercarn Grizz herself instructed that each ministry be circumscripted. We observe an inconsistency in this. It causes us to question her judgment.
Portray Grizz as power-hungry, humane, or unreliable. Let's not just dick over our friend. She may not be thinking clearly this once. It's harder to stick to those rules when a friend's life is involved.
It is a weakness. We will have to account for it in our dealings with her.
I do really like Paige's brooch. Also the kind of oil slick effect on its cape. Very nice.
Do you have anything more?
I have so many things more. Let's just go down the list, shall we? Horatio. Mr. Page's pays. Then it puts the census page and a stack of others much like it. It weighs the stack down with a paperweight. Is it that paperweight that's covered it also in correspondence? So that seems dangerous. If I look too hard at the paperweight, my eyes sting. Yep, that's correspondence.
This one is of interest. Family fashioned, lacking authority.
Or, like, not married, but maternal. To translate from Pages. But Grizz, she works for you. The trick is not to look at the back of the penny at all. Pages turns the papers over carefully.
Almost all as I would expect for Undercarn Grizz.
It's almost purring. But it stands there, looking at the page about Grizz's non-existent romantic life for what seems like a lifetime. Aww, buddy.
Grizz's previous suitor was unmeritary.
I mean, she thought so too. By the sounds of it, she felt much the same.
We will determine whether he lives, and whether his family lives. Undercarn Grizz shall not be troubled with a distraction from them.
It's a very Masters thing to say, okay, what if we solve this minor problem by, checks notes, killing everybody involved? Got it. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. Yeah, sure. Yes.
Do you have anything more?
Rachel, the woman I have decided to be madly into. This form merits 2 pennies. Ooh. Is it because I'm madly into her? It looks through the sheets of the form in its usual way. Doesn't find much to interest it in the account of Rachel's romantic life. much more intrigued by her employment.
She invents love stories? From nothing? These stories we will acquire. If they are suitable, then we will also acquire the authoress.
I'm also planning to acquire the authoress, so... I frown. Oh, Paige is mad.
Excellent. Do you have anything more?
And her brother, who may or may not be dead. I've got used to the transaction now.
There are 7 forms thus...
Oh, it was 7 total. I thought it was 7 more.
7 forms thus far. This should be commemorated. Grizz has suggested that the agents of the Ministry should appear respectable. Moreover, that black is a respectable colour of clothing. I have obtained an article. It was not made with Mr. Vales's wares. I hope this will not give offence. Mr. Vales should not be given the measure of you.
Appearing respectable is no fun. Big mood. It's a pretty sharp coat, though. Suitable for funeral processions and the attendance of graves. Wearing it makes me more conscious of grim truths, but also better able to lend comfort. Oh, it's a sharp suit of empathy. Got it.
Deceased already. We prefer the census of the living. In this case, we will overlook, but exercise greater precautionating.
To be fair, he was alive when we interviewed him.
Do not interview those about to be murdered.
If it were me, I would simply not interview people about to be murdered.
Do you have anything more?
Devil's time. Actually, I'm going to save the devils till last. I'm very interested in what it thinks of those. Priest. I can take my penny without flinching under its stare. Cool, we have grown inured already.
Grizz specificated the existence of holy men who were wedded to the church. This one appears to have been wedded to a woman. Only. A disappointment. Though we thank you, it might have been something more.
It contemplates the final sheet of the census form again.
Do you have anything more?
What about Ivy? The trick is not to look at the back of the penny at all.
An exemplar sample. Her mother is resilient of heart. She herself also.
I liked her. She was cool.
Your application of companionate time outside of the ministry is your own.
Holy man wedded to only one woman and not the church? Yeah. Playing against type is real.
We do not forbid revisiting the subjects of the census. Do you have anything more?
Just like, I liked her.
I don't care.
But Milton? Got used to the transaction now.
This one is not a citizen of London. He will come from points west. It is not capable of love. Do you have anything more?
I mean, Virginia sounds like should be much the same, but we'll still get paid. Wait, what? Take my penny without flinching. Pages goes through the pages of this census with growing interest. Not being a citizen of London means you're not capable of love. No, specifically, him being a devil, it means he's not capable of love, at least. So a lot of the cosmology would state. Like, it's not just that he's not from London. There are plenty of people who are not from London and, you know, have souls. That sounds like discrimination. Yeah. Discrimination from a government department in the time of the British Empire? The concept. You weren't here for the beginning of the game? Oh, I know. I riff. And suddenly it stops and throws the sheaf on its desk.
She is known to us. She's not from the 5th city at all. Not even the 1st. Hell exchanged its leaders late in the 4th city. We were otherwise occupied. We are unfamiliar with the newcomers. We surmise she is ambitious or in exilement.
Right, so... yeah. God, I can't remember. Is it canon that Virginia was, like, hell aristocracy before the Revolution? Again, if you don't know any Fallen London lore, I will be saying largely incomprehensible things, but when do I not do that? Yeah, I think it's that Virginia was either aristocracy or royalty in hell before the Revolution, and now she's living in exile. And yes, London is the 5th city. The others were for a long time a matter of debate. The 4th was Karakoram in like the, I think, like the 10th century, I think. I could be wrong on the dates. 3rd city is somewhere Mesoamerican. I think it's... God, I used to know these. It might be Teotihuacan. The internet knows all these things. The 2nd is, I believe, Alexandria. And the 1st was possibly somewhere in Babylon. Or the area thereof. Because yes, the Bazaar just periodically steals cities. And it's heavily implied that Paris is going to be the 6th. But no game has got that far in the timeline yet. I say timeline, there's now a few timelines, because Sunless Skies is technically like a branching point. Anyway, as I say, I have spent far too long just absorbing the lore of these games. Because that's me. So, yeah, let's maybe try and focus on the game we're actually playing. Enough of my official duties for the moment. Also enough of me saying that. Ask what the Romancer accounts are about. Ask whether they always knew the way to the surface. Speaking of her, I just finished watching Cast in the Sky, and Ghibli leaned hard into remember military men are bad, destructive jokes and government men can't be trusted, and children fighting them are correct. Yeah. That's every Miyazaki film. The man is unutterably based. So, what's with the love stories? Why are you asking people about their romantic situation? Are you planning any related laws or regulations?
You may consider the love stories remunerant. An exchange for our generosity in the matter of food and clothing.
Ask whether they have to be true, or discover whether he's looking for tales of a saucy variety. Are there any particular details that would enhance the pleasure of these tales?
Yes. If you are able to convey the flavour of the hearts, and their resistance to the tooth. You may discretionate how these elements are metriced.
Well, that's possibly the most unsettling answer he could have given, so credit there. Horny for cannibalism? Yeah. Except, I mean, it's not cannibalism, because Pages isn't human, so... Again, spoilers if you don't know the lore. Well, I mean, it's fairly explicit throughout that the masters aren't human. But he wants you to describe it. Yeah, that's fair. I suppose, yeah. Yes, he is horny for us to have the concept of cannibalism. I say farewell to Mr. Pages. Pages does not reply at all. It's at times difficult to tell whether Mr. Pages is intentionally ill-mannered, or merely has no interest in discovering what the proper etiquette might be. So you're telling me the masters are autistic? Oh, we now know about collecting love stories. You were about to say God me, got there first. Perks of stream lag. The hallways outside are hushed, except that if I listen closely there's a sound like something walking with an uneven gait. Now that's me. Its shoes, or perhaps its toenails, click on a polished floor. Judging by the clock, I can afford another errand today. Well, I think, and huge hot take here, we should probably pay our rent. Because while I have strong opinions about landlords, Horatia is also living through this whole disaster period. And also, we agreed to this and should just give her money. Very sharp. So sharp. Even sharper. Much less sharp. The code says I offer pastoral comfort, and I'm willing to face dark truths. As for the corsage, I admit it is startlingly vulgar. Which is a vibe I like to, you know, project. Head outside, and by outside I mean downstairs, because we are going to pay our rent. Horatia doesn't attend much to what I wear. I know. An indifference no doubt born of seeing as in all states. Yeah, let's be real. She has almost certainly seen everybody in his house naked, so whatever. Find Horatia in the basement, taking inventory of our supplies. Again. But then, I mean, we have dwindling supplies. Horatia sighs when I show my face. If I had a penny... I think just my presence has reminded her of her lodgers, and that reminds her of Archie. Yes, absolutely. She saw you and was like, ah, that makes me sad. Because it reminds me of a different person who has made me sad. Not just, ah, look at you. Let's go with it. She hasn't gotten to inhabiting that grief comfortably yet. Sure. My friend, it's good to see you. Mention the raised biscuit rations. I expressed relief and surprise at her continued survival. I do kind of love that that is our kind of trademark greeting is, oh my god, you're alive! There are more biscuits coming. I recount the newspaper story. The biscuit rations have been raised. Oh! The new ration will be a large number of small or broken biscuits rather than a small number of whole biscuits. Is that better? I'd need some numbers to say whether that's better or not. I make the story as engaging as I can. Plenty of detail and a fair sprinkling of dramatic pauses. I did take to leaving out the papers with headlines about the ministries, with the relevant bits circled for Grizz. I don't think she took it in the spirit it was intended, though. Speak of the need for laws, the sinister nature of authority, or speak against baseless speculation regarding the Masters. I mean, we've already been contracted to provide some baseless speculation regarding the Masters. I think this is, no gods, no masters kind of moment. Those who make the laws have always abused the place. This is just true. Keeping their own power and pushing down everyone else. Horatia hears me out, but it's plain this question doesn't matter as much to her as to me. Yeah. Of all the people you could just casually start a conversation with about anarchism and the corruptive nature of power, I very much doubt your landlady is the person who's going to be most receptive to it. Don't mind me. Horatia murmurs over her plate, blessing, I think, for the food and for Archie too. I think this line has been transposed from a dinner scene. It started snowing outside. I very much doubt that. There's word it started with some disturbance over at the bazaar. Do you see anything, friend? Say I was at the ministry and saw nothing. React with alarm or comfort her. Yeah. I was at the ministry earlier. I didn't see anything then. But it's possible something happened after I left, that being the nature of linear time. Everyone's silent for a moment. Again, I feel like we fall accidentally into a dinner scene. The situation is too puzzling to explain. Anyway, back in the actual present, have my money. Here, you're owed this. Horatia briefly squeezes my shoulder. Be polite. I'm grateful you gave me so long. It's what we do here. Yay! You've been sitting here wondering if this was a Fallen London story? Oh! Yeah! Yeah, it is. It's the new one. Yes, because you missed the start of the stream where I was talking about that. But yes, this is the newest Fallen London story, yet, like, it's chronologically set the earliest. It's set, like, during and just after the actual fall. No one speaks for a moment. There's only two of us here. I have a confession. I saw an enormous tentacle in the basement not so long ago. We're in the basement! I didn't tell you and the others, because I thought it might put you off the ass. You know, just enough Fallen London lore for it to trip that switch in your brain. Yeah. I know just enough Fallen London lore for it to be my brain. And it didn't seem a great danger. That is, it wasn't doing anything. Other than stealing the odd supplies now and then. Seemed a lazy thing, really. Grew a bit fond. Now I hear tell there's been a man-made a tentacle seen, bold as brass. Heard it from a few sources beyond Mrs. Besham's whisperings. Lurking in the dark where the caves have opened on the south bank. Disquiet, alarm, or refuse to... Why are those our only options? Why do we not have an option of meat? Because that's what I want to say here. I think disquiet is the least. Tentacle in the basement, but it's not causing any issues, so we figured it could stay as well. Yeah, it's very much a vibe. Oh, yeah, disquiet. I'm usually disquieted. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with all these tentacles. Ah, but you're not sure you're not. This is a journey of self-discovery. Look, as your landlady, I have to give notice if it takes over another room. I'm glad to know it's worrying you too. Makes me feel a bit less like I'm losing the plot. A couple of the neighbours have mentioned a sinkhole where they've stopped by for tea. Caves below the streets by the south bank. Movement in the depths, coils slithering in the gaslights. So it's not just us, it seems. Say there are easy ways of finding new tenants. Assume she wants me to go there. Doubt that there's a connection. Except that there may be a connection. I mean, if this is going to get us the option to go to Flute Street, I'm taking it. And you want me to go down there? See if there's a connection? Well, not at the expense of your own safety. I still have bills to pay after all. Even in all this, the utilities must be kept up. But I'd like to know as much as I can, and you're more at liberty than me. I don't know that there's a connection between our basement and these caves, but best be on your guard. Trouble comes from below. Yeah, trouble comes from below down here. Demon Barber of Flute Street doesn't hit the same. Oh my god, I would love to see that. Learn about the origin of tentacle creatures below. Yes. If anyone knows the way to this place, it'll be Harjit. Yes, man just screams. Ask me about tentacles. Offer Horatio my friendship. Sure. Did I see Josh Groban as Sweeney Todd? I did not. I see you as one of my closest friends. I said friendship. I didn't say one of my closest friends. Calm down, me. I have a lot of people in my life who are friendly. The butcher, the neighbours, the lodgers, half the parish is in Albans. You want to matter in my life in a different way to that, you need to work alongside me. Maybe don't even think of it as rent. Maybe contribute the way you would to a family household. So you're saying as well as paying rent I should do more chores. That's what I need and don't have. And I know not everyone's got that to offer. I admit that's probably more than I can do. I apologise for my history and promise to do better. I promise to be there for her. Well, this has all got fairly real all of a sudden. So I am going to take a short break. Also because, again, linear time. So, yeah, I need to go and stretch my legs and get some more water. And all of those things. I would recommend all of you do the same. Have a drink, have a snack, get up and move around, take your meds if you still need to, give somebody a hug if they're chill with it. And, yeah, I'm going to run some ads, if you can let them run, and I will be back in about 3 minutes. Love you all. See you in a few. And we're back. Sorry about the slight delay, got caught up in admin for everything at once, you know how it is. Yeah, so we may have just declared our undying bond of friendship with our landlady. I think we should back off. This was a bad move to begin with. I'm afraid I don't believe I can promise that. Then we know where we stand. Yes, look. Horatio sets the dinner soon afterward. Again, we're in the basement. Oh, right, no, goes upstairs and does so. Let's take the coat off for dinner. Circumstance beneath London. Ooh. Doesn't make getting close to her to overthrow the petite bourgeoisie easier later. Well, not anymore. Now I've said, actually, no, let's not. Horatio arrives late to supper. What's on your boots, Horatio? It looks like milk and it smells like a sewer. Don't go into the basement. I mean, yeah, you already told me about the tentacle. I know about the tentacle thing. It's not only that. Tentacle won't harm you, but there's a bit of a mess. The floor down there is flooded. I moved everything to the ice shelves. Delight in the mystery. How marvellously strange. See, this is the kind of reaction I wanted earlier. I could do with fewer mysteries if they made less of a mess. Don't you mean you'd be fine with more mysteries if they made less, more mysteries if they made less of a mess? You would like the mysteries to not be there and also not be obtrusive. Silence falls as we try and pass that sentence. I have powers over this house that I did not always have. I'm sorry? One might even say that I share in the house. This body is mine in a sense. I came here for dinner. I did not expect my landlady to proclaim herself a Genius Loki. My foundations go deep. What are you telling me? That the fabric of this house obeys me. The windows callous over. The roof grows barbs. Basement extends much farther than it used to. I can't write down my methods. Archie wouldn't think it was scientific. Now we might be regretting not pledging loyalty. I'm thinking of moving. But I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense that this would happen in the Neath, in a place where stories and symbols have like even more direct power in the absence of celestial law. So when you've created... Like, when we've created this societal story about landowners, and that this house isn't just a collection of stones, and she isn't just a woman who makes us pay to live there. She, like, in some way owns this space and is a function as well as a person. It's very Neathy logic. Ask how this happened, except that this is a natural Neath evolution for her. Nethelution? No. Or... She's wrapped her identity into the house. Yeah. Exactly. This makes sense. This is what the Neath does for a landlady. One who cares for her tenants at any rate. Yeah, the landlady becomes the lady who is the land. I don't think this happens to everyone. Not every boarding house is placed as we are. What does that mean? Horatio, what does that mean? I have no option but to keep quiet and eat. Cool, I'm uncomfortable. I chew diligently, and never make eye contact with anyone. There are no more mushrooms on my plate, and that's how you know the day has finished. No more mushrooms, go to sleep. That's how the song goes. 266 days since the fall, it is the end of confessions. All further crimes will go unpunished. This is unlikely. This morning I waked to furious pounding on the front door. We did not record Foley of this. Rachel is already talking to Grizz and Horatio by the time I get downstairs. I'm Rachel Landau. I believe you know Archibald Reed, the doctor? Well enough to know he didn't kill anyone. I'm not certain of that, and my brother was certainly dead. But you were quick to make accusations. I've come to ask your help. Maybe to free your friend as well. Is it me or she got a little bit of Rachel Weisz in the Mummy? Or is this just very man who has only seen the Boss Baby? So I'd best not let myself be drawn. You have a way of freeing Archie. Meanwhile, Grizz has quite a lot of Gina McKee in Mirror Mask. I mean, the Mummy lives rent-free in our heads. Yeah, exactly. And also, my perception of human faces is, as I am so often reminded, not analogous to that of normal people. I think David might not be... That is, I think he may not be dead anymore. I keep having dreams that David is awake in his coffin. I can barely close my eyes without thinking of it. If I don't dig him up and make sure, I'll never have any peace. So you've come to us to help dig up your brother's coffin? Yes. I have a shovel in the basement. Mostly for coal, but it'll do. It's, again, so Horatio to just be like, dig up a body? Yeah, alright. Wasn't doing anything else this morning. I'm not going to needle her about bringing servants. I don't reply. She's not speaking only to me, after all. Why us? You are Archie's friends, and you want his name cleared. So you have reason to try to find David alive, even if I mean nothing to you. She glances at me as though to say she knows there is more between us than that, even if she doesn't choose to say so in front of anyone else. Calm down! Have some water! She has never spoken to you about this. You just had one conversation with her and were like, I'm gonna marry that girl. Simmer down. I am hydrating. I knew I couldn't make jokes about drinking some water without you pressing that button, so I did. Take the opportunity to look for evidence, help out a friendship for Archie, or help but let Rachel know she'll owe me one. I think she knows that. Let's investigate. The condition of the corpse might reveal something about the drug used, because apparently we were a forensic tailor? If I can get a good look at that, I'll have an easier time with the rest of the inquiry that nobody has asked us to make. I'll help you.
Thanks, miss. Here.
There's only a fresh mound of earth. Yeah, that's generally how graves work.
You sure this is the one? It's not marked. I left these stones.
We can make an observation. It doesn't look like the grave of someone buried alive.
In my dream, he can't climb out by himself.
I mean, that's generally how burial works. It's grim, slow work. When we've struck the bottom at last, Grizz climbs into the grave.
Well?
I found some very loud woodwind.
It's been a few days, aye?
Grizz calls up from below.
David is still deceased. You're sure?
Check the corpse's condition. Propose an ingenious way of checking for life. I make a lot of gallows jokes, but I don't think this is the time. I will investigate. Mind if I come down? I'm bringing the camera with me. This corpse is definitely a corpse. Not sure what I expected to feel in its presence. Not this. Poke it with a stick. The lips are green tinged, the muscles of the face contorted, the fingers twisted. There's no sense of an intelligence departed or a spirit gone. Does not give the offensive sense that someone who should be here is not. Does not feel like one's arrived too late. Keep looking, gaze into the abyss. The more I look, the more I'm sure this thing has never been alive at all. Interesting. I do not smell decay, but there's a pale, cloying scent like lilies grown in muck. The sense grows on me that if I touch him again, his eyes will open and that it will not be David Landau looking at me. So we should poke it. God, we are just dissociating so hard. Brush back the hair. Just where the hairline meets the brow is a line of 4 tiny sigils. Interesting! Can barely make them out even with a light. From above, Rachel calls to me in concern. I touch the sigil with the tip of my finger and flinch back. The touch of it stings. I smeared it a little, I think. Does the corpse face look different now than it did? Miss! And then we just shoot back up out of the grave. If you were hoping to find David alive down there, he isn't. Ask if the sigils are part of burial preparation, say I'm not sure the corpse is David, or give her a hug. I mean, saying I'm not sure the corpse is David just sounds like I'm having an episode. We've found actual evidence. So, is writing correspondence on a body like a Jewish thing? She says in Victorian Gentile idiot. Would you have written on your brother's forehead? Perhaps a custom of your own. Oh my god, I actually am going there.
I did not, and I don't think the woman of the Hera Kadisha would have. Kadisha, even. Not, that's not it. Is it Hebrew?
I don't think so. Does Hebrew burn when you look at it?
Maybe it was a smudge of grave dirt that looked like writing. Milton said once that the laws of life and death down here are not as they were above. So I thought... I don't know.
Whatever he implied, your brother isn't returning. It's most likely a mistake. I believe Mr. Mirrors is to blame for sending dreams. Ah, he wishes. Insist on the strangeness or just give up and go home. No, I am in detective mode. I had an episode and I'm going to lean into it. We might not have found a live David in the grave, but I'm still not so sure we found his corpse. If it isn't him, then we probably don't want to meddle with whatever it is. One thing I've learned at the Ministry, there are things down here that resemble people, but are not people. Not even counting the devils.
We can go. I'm sorry, it was foolish of me to think there could be anything in it. Grizz and Sarah should see you back home safe. You don't need to do that. But I'd be grateful for the company.
You've had a shock. Okay, now, Grizz, if you could just not be here, just...
Phoebe! Phoebe, we have guests!
We aren't guests. Don't worry about refreshments.
I had you digging up graves. The least I can do is offer a pot of tea. Phoebe! Probably asleep, the baggage.
Welp. Hello, I let myself in.
You were dead!
I was.
And now you aren't.
Not for the past couple of hours. It took me a little time to return. And then you weren't here. Spent some time on a slow boat, passing a dark beach on a silent river. Rapid fire, react with curiosity. This is always my thing with Fallen London games, is I play the character of see everything the Neath has to offer and all its terrible wonders and go, neat, poke it. How is this possible? I was truly dead, and I have returned. The paths of life and death are not as they are on the surface. Why has he gone American now? The paths of life and death are not as they are on the surface. There we go. That is the only explanation I can find. The question of the grave remains alarming. There was a corpse there, and you don't much resemble it. I didn't wake in my grave. I came to myself standing in the midst of London. One moment I was crossing the last river, and then the boatman put me back ashore. Worry over what the sigil corpse meant, or ask about the last river? Practical, metaphysical, I'm interested in the sigil corpse, why there was a possibly fake corpse with correspondence written on it. The corpse with the sigils on it. It may not be David's body, but surely it's connected with this.
I am not returning to dig it up a second time. My hands are raw. And I have more mysteries than I can manage already. As far as I am concerned, it was a malevolent practical joke. I don't need to know by whom.
If it was man-made, it was still a very strange creation. There may be others we can ask. Don't smirk at me like that. I know where you work. People who know more about this kind of matter. I don't believe I have the pleasure of your acquaintance, Miss Smith. I am a clerk of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. I was helping Miss Landau. We were trying to dig up your corpse.
I dreamed you were alive. But you were trapped in there. I knew it might only be grief, but I dreamed it again and again, so vividly.
We should make a list of what to do. I will alert the Ministry that death appears not to be going as usual. And someone needs to inform Harjit that Mr. Landau is not dead, and therefore Archie is not a murderer. I mean, I don't think the law is clear on that point. Because if you killed a guy, you're still a murderer, even if he doesn't stay permanently dead. English law has nothing to say on this now, much less back then. As far as I know. Someone did murder me. See, David sees my point. I was poisoned. It was excruciating.
He really was completely dead.
But he isn't dead now, so therefore that is not a murder. Whoever did it might try again. I can't be sure it wouldn't work. Believe me, I still very much want to know who the culprit was. I'd rather hoped you might know who did it. Listen for anything that might exonerate Archie, lighten the mood as much as possible, or ghoulish curiosity. I'm not a true crime weirdo. I said we were going to try and get Archie out. I watched David closely. I hardly ate anything that day, only the medicine that Archie brought me. I wasn't feeling well from the beginning, so I stayed in my room to read. There's quite a parade of visitors in the parlour, I collect.
A parade? I had Ivy Fitzclarity here working on a fitting. She is hardly a visitor, and we were not in the parlour for the most part. Though she may have passed through.
Yeah, okay, who else was here? So Miss Fitzclarity was here on the last day. And Archie visited, we know that, as you blamed him for the poisoning. Rachel and Phoebe were at home. I'm, suspecting both of those people. I believe I heard Milton's sticky tones through 3 sets of doors.
Milton did pay a morning call. It was not long, and I was preoccupied with Ivy. I held a brief conversation with him, and then excused myself. He spoke with Phoebe for a few minutes, and then departed again, I believe.
Okay, how was Archie? When Archie was with you, he didn't do anything strange? Nothing to make you think he had a sinister intention? No, his bedside manner was much the usual. He had moments of melancholy. He often spoke of being homesick. But otherwise, he only showed a concern to see that I was better. Although the flavour of the medicine that day was a trifle different. Your medicine tastes like trifle? Jealous. More like other ordinary medicines I'd had before. He said it was a change in the ingredients available. That he'd had to compound his own down here. That's a little troubling now I've thought of it.
More than a little.
I'm sure it's only a coincidence, and the meaning was just what Archie said it was. Eat anything else? And you ate nothing, David? No, only Archie's medicine. No drinks? No tea with a bit of flavour and a gritty texture at the bottom of the cup? I would certainly have noticed. I thought as much. One always has the sense of poisoning victims being especially unobservant. We found the true crime weirdo. Okay, guess we're done. We should go home and leave you to your conversation. I imagine there's a great deal to say at such a reunion. You will let Constable Singh know that this murder is no longer a murder? I wouldn't want the matter to be dropped. It would be the most grotesque miscarriage of justice to hang a man for murder when he did no such thing, and his victim is still walking around London.
I will tell Constable Singh. Gracious.
When you came to us for help, you said it would help us free Archie.
It's true. true, I did. Then pray honour that commitment.
That was a rash promise.
It seemed reasonable, but I needed help. Can you see any of our cousins agreeing to come down and take a turn with the shovel?
No. Especially not the Landau cousins.
Such a betrayal of tradition. But thank you, and give my thanks to Miss Smith as well. You were truly a great assistance in a terrible time. If it was Archie who gave the fatal dose, then something will have to be done. But of course we'll say it wasn't murder.
You may say it wasn't. This is a whole-ass ethical quandary. Season of Confessions, done. We have finished the Season of Confessions. This music is quite loud. Ethics in video games? I know, right?
Rachel Landau has sent a note of thanks. Wait a few days before paying a visit. There is no rule for how soon to visit the deceased after they return to life. They will need to recover. Never mind. At least Archie will be home soon.
Bold statement. Archie does not return. His place remains empty. Horatio cooks him a portion, but he never comes to eat it. After 4 days, Grizz tries to argue her out of doing it anymore, but she insists she can afford it, thanks to me. This is what I pay my rent for? What isn't eaten goes to hungry neighbours in the morning. Okay, that's fair enough then. And she, Horatio, doesn't welcome interference in how she runs the house. She is the house. Since the fall, every season is freshly alien. The Season of Confessions goes out, taking with it many helpful self-deceits. Yule brings the first full horror of the Neath. Oh my god, are we going to meet Mr. Sachs? People stop pretending when an animal speaks that it was imagination. Dogs, it's true, still say very little. This is what passes for tact among dogs. That is a good quote. Cats have no such compunctions, as we all knew. On the rooftops, they trade in human secrets, and their side glances dare us to object, hypocritical gossips that we are. Achievement unlocked, confessed. Oh, those pop-ups are showing up on this. They're just behind me. 7 days remain in the season of Yule.
It's as I explained to Horatio and to Lady Griselda. By the terms of the law, a murder was still committed.
No, that's not drop.
The trial will still be held just before Christmas. There is nothing I can do. There is nothing the Landaus can do either. Miss Landau did send a letter to the court to explain her brother's change of circumstance.
Okay, but have you tried? What exactly did you do?
I have spoken to everyone I could find. I woke an old judge from his bed in the middle of the night. He did not take to it kindly.
Nah, he knows what he's doing. Thank you for trying.
It was all I could do. Archie will be tried. If we can account for his innocence, he may be freed. If we find evidence that someone else was involved, they may be added to the trial. If you find anything, if you have a good explanation for how it wasn't Archie.
Explore Harder's feelings about Archie was a weird thing to do. Say I'll bring any evidence to him. Say that we're going to find powerful people to intervene. Don't say that. Change plans and decide to... prison break! Just... You'll be the first to know.
Thank you.
Provide Harjit with a suspect. I'll need to craft my theories. Yeah, we will. Can't build a finished plan, I'll at least be able to come up with some hypotheses. Crafting theories about an unknown motive or method will give me the right questions and let me get answers out of people. The more I learn, the more I'll be able to refine what I ask, or the accusations I'm ready to make. I am always glad to visit Archie on the HMS... Archie on the HMS Ungulate with you. I'm not going to flirt. There was another place on the list. Oh, there's more things. Oh, yeah, we needed to ask him about the cavern. And Parliament, hey. Flute straight. Do you know how to get to the cavern of tentacled creatures? You can't just walk up to someone in the street and ask if they want to go to the cavern of tentacled creatures. You get arrested. Especially if he's a cop. I believe I know what you mean. I mean, the fact that there's, possibly enough caverns and tentacle creatures for that to be ambiguous is concerning. This path is more than usually complicated. Yeah, but I mean, you're going south of the river. Standard London joke! Several times we stop and retrace our steps. Cannot omit this part of the procedure, going backwards is part of the routine. Part of the route, even. Warrens of Amber. Yes. Sickos.jpg. Harjit takes me as far as the cavern entrance and suggests I watch my back. The descent is steep. The cavern's lightless and treacherous. I walk in the dripping dark for a very long time. Has anyone else ever been this way? Will I ever return? I mean, I feel like we haven't learnt it yet, game. Until at last, a light. Not appearing in this picture. What are you doing down here? Crashing about in the dark like an escaped sorrow spider. My friend and I heard you from miles below. Sound was vexing him. More importantly, vexing me. I feel like this is the wrong voice. Take a grim light. What does that mean? I suppose we'll all be buried in the end. Well, we have a strong contender for worst conversational opening gambits. Just you there, what are you doing here? Well, I suppose we're all gonna die. What the hell, bro? Hell of a pickup line. Yeah. Depends what you're into, I suppose. I passed your feeble fatalism some centuries ago. When the worst both happens and ceases to continue, one has to revise their expectations. I have been here a very long time. My name is... Now, I mean, I'm guessing she's, like... I was about to say Kaganian, but this would presumably be before the establishment of the Khanate, because the Fifth City's only recently fallen. Not sure on the comparative chronology, but in any case, Mongolian. So... Mongolian orthography! I think that's Bakhujin. One of the prior cities? Yeah, so it'd be Fourth City. But like I say, it's After the fourth city was replaced by London, a lot of the inhabitants moved east into the Undersea and founded the new Khanate. So I tend to think of people in this setting from the fourth city as Kaganian, even though at this point the Khanate wouldn't have been established yet. I need to look up Mongolian orthography. 1 second. It matters to me. Mongolian language. In which I learned that they tried to introduce the Latin alphabet into Mongolia, and it lasted for 2 months. Okay, Mongolian. Oh no, Q is ch, like it is in Chinese. And a J is also a ch, they're just at different aspiration states. I'm going to say this very badly. My name is Barchujin. I used to be a person of consequence. My city predates yours, though it is now gone. Yours fell on it, but I do not hold it against you. The fourth city had already gone to the dogs. Worse. Join in on her joke, accuse her of lying, compliment her appearance. Again, why can't we just be like, neat? Look, you literally can't spell neath without neat. This is the least dick way of doing it. And you don't look a day over 30. Ha. Your usual line. Adjusted upwards and downwards according to the self-awareness of the recipient, no doubt. I ceased to count the days after I descended to the amber vats. My appearance has become an abstraction to me. But it is good to know the rubbery men were not lying about the restorative properties. It seems best I escort you into the caverns if you mean to explore. I know this accent is going very strange places, but honestly that feels like it fits for somebody who's been down here for centuries. There are things down here it would be best not to fall into. You may not take my arm. And my friend would welcome company, it saves him talking at me. She leads me deeper into the darkness. Sure, there's a murder mystery happening, but on the other hand, squid people! I have been watching your city for some time. I have made a few trips to the market above and bartered for what I could with what little we have. I have observed that Londoners are an excitable breed. It is in this spirit that I warn you not to be alarmed at the appearance of my friend. He cannot help it. Immediately assume the worst. Imagine she's pleased to see as delightful a specimen as me, or steal myself. Wow, again! I'll steal myself, because that seems like the thing I can most do while not saying anything. Wonder what I'm getting myself into. These people are from far away, or long ago. I know where they're from. They emerged centuries ago from these caves. I do not know how deep their roots run. Well, I mean, yeah, strictly they're from here. They were created here. Am I surprised that the game also demonstrates hubris? No. Not remotely. Look, one of the reasons I started the whole hubris thing was because of sunless skies, so... They do not resemble us, they do not think like us, they do not act like us. But they do not mean to harm us. It is not far now. She leads me through dark and twisting caverns for a very long time. It was like days. Yeah. This is Batachi Khan. It is not his name, but what he has permitted me to call him. Names are unknown to his people. He is a man of surpassing flexibility. Perhaps Rubbery Man is the more suitable translation. I mean, you already used it once. Though, of course, he is not a man, but he has insisted upon the masculine. I have not wished to dispute this. Recoil and Alarm. Ask how accurate the title Surpassing Flexibility is, or suggest that must come in handy. Yeah. I imagine there's more than a few uses for such a skill. Cool. When I said it sounded innocent. When my character says it sounds like we're already planning a heist. Batachi Khan makes an innocent hooting noise. Believe me, the novelty wears off after the first century. And now you've only encouraged him. You are the first to venture down here. Though secrecy has grown harder and harder of late. Batachi Khan insisted we get as close to the surface as we could. I told him it was only a matter of time, and I was right. Batachi Khan makes a series of plangent honks. I saw plangent honks at Glastonbury one time. The oddest of odd couples. I'm here for it. The gesture is obvious. The surface. There are others of his kind, many in deeper places than here. They sheltered me from the dissolution of my city. They have sent us from the vats to be their emissaries. I have been his eyes and ears while we waited to see what would become of your new city. I have even learnt your language. What under heaven happened there? Such an ugly polygamous tongue. You are not wrong. That is an official. Speaking as someone who did linguistics at college, that is a proper linguistic analysis of English. Is what's up with that? I believe we have tea. Will you take a cup? Batachi Khan makes a series of frantic honks as though to dissuade me. Take the opportunity to make eyes at Batachi over the cup. Drink with gusto or refuse. I mean, the squid is giving me messages here. Squid messages. Squessages? Squissages. No. I couldn't possibly. How disappointing. Is there an error in how I make it? Off to show her the London method. Pretend to drink it or suggest she find that out for herself. I can show you local tea. It's not good. It's slow without a kettle and only a campfire and ancient porcelain. There's no milk. What results is sweet and bitter, the sourness leavened with too much sugar. It's not unlike what I normally drink. That's the self-read. Unspeakable, abominable. If you are not finishing yours, I shall have it. The correct junk food response of, this is garbage, give me 5. Butterchikan surrenders his cup with equanimity. Orifices open for drinking, seal. He wishes to... I had mosaic tiles somewhere for the difficult ones. Wait, you have pecs? Like... PEX cards, yeah. Sorry, this is me going into disability nerd moment for a moment. It's, yeah, Picture Exchange, Picture Exchange card system is what it stands for, yes. So yes, you shouldn't really say PEX cards, but, yeah, anyway. Yeah, they're the, like, pictures and concepts that you can, use to communicate with non-verbal people, which is nice. Bear with me, as that cheating costermonger on the market says. Butterchikan approaches with a plaintive burbling. Butterchikan extends a tentacle. He wants me to take it. Accept with intent? What does that mean? Polite shake or refuse to touch it. I think we have intent. Look, I will not surprise anyone in this chat when I say, if they give us an option for rubbery romance route, I'm taking it. That's the film everyone was raving about last year. That's what it stands for, is rubbery romance route. If it was that, I would have actually got around to watching it. Rubbery romance is a phrase. Yeah, I come out with a lot of those. Intent. I held the tentacle for a fraction too long. Was it? Butterchikan makes a resonant warble, deeper than any I've heard from him before. Surpassing flexibility. I have it that noise means their recompense is desired, but not... Oh. I see that I am superfluous. That shall be my epithet, superfluous Butterchikan. Butterchikan is still for a moment. Then she rolls her eyes. Rubbery romance does not bring tentacles to mind so much as certain outfits. Yeah, fair. Literally all I did was take the tentacle. Very well, I do recall this one. I accept the apology. Butterchikan makes a plangent noise like a duck being deflated. Just got an oboe under there. I think this indicates contentment. This is followed by a series of trilling ululations. I always suck at saying that word. Ululations. No, I would not ask that on a first visit. She glances at me. Perhaps if our new friend were to come again, they might indicate by so doing, that they are willing to entertain a request of such viscosity. Love me a viscous request. Disclaimer, not necessarily true. The conversation waits on Butterchikan. They watch me depart. I sense they wish I'd stayed, but were too cautious to ask. I think she was too cautious to ask and just wasn't translating for him. Perhaps they might welcome another visit in future. Absolutely happening! It's a long and treacherous road back through the caves. I just have time for another errand today. We can now think about those people. We should look at our story crafting. Yes, so we still have these ministerial exposés that we should talk to Archie about where they should go. But also we should maybe be thinking about the mystery. So we have culprit, motivator, action, poison, David. So these are all did something because something, and then because that, did something else. What's the method? Ah, is it a tainted drug, an arsenical cloth, or unknown methods? That sounds interesting. By means of vibrantly coloured cloth. We can say it was Archie, the Carringhams, who we've still not actually met, Grizz, Horatio, Ivy, Milton, a Londoner, Phoebe, Rachel, or someone. And we can say who the motivator was, which interestingly, David is a like actual choice. Was he in this one? No, we can't say that he definitely poisoned himself, but we can say that he set it up. Thank you for clipping my enthusiastic acceptance of a Visca's request. No, I don't know if arsenical cloth is the way to go. Because, I mean, here's the story that we're being told. We don't know this bit. Jealous of David's family? I mean, it's a possibility. Well, we'll poke more at this theory in a few minutes, because I've just seen that we are meant to be going on a break again. So, once again, I'm going to go and grab some more water, move around, get somewhere slightly less murderously warm. I would recommend all of you all do the same. You know, stay cool, have a drink, have a snack, take your meds if you still need to. Go and, you know, say hi to somebody. And, yeah. With me, I will put some... I will play some adverts, if you'd like them run. And I will be back in a few minutes. Love you all. See you in a few. And I'm back. Hi again, everyone. Again, sorry about the thing. About the delay. There were so many things. Yeah, so our possible motives we've got: jealous of family, hoped for vengeance. Just for what? Hope to Archie humiliated the boys. I mean, the jealous of David having a family is more like is the most logical. Yeah, so I'm gonna assemble the thing that I'm being told. So, this is why did somebody want Archie to? For unknown reasons. Total concoction of lies and encouragements that stirred up his resentment against David. Right, so that would lead to the vengeance thing. I guess took treatment. I'm gonna make the theory. Archie most of all wished for health for the Neath. And then, yeah, for some reason. Wanted to avoid blame? Sure. Let's assemble this theory, present it to people, and have them say, what? And then I will say, no, we are saying what? That's an investigative question. Anyway, first we're going to have a flashback. Will it be in the form of a poem again? Sometimes I try to remember the surface, what it was like before the fall, when we all still lived in a world of day and night, winter and summer. Both by Kid Cudi. When Grizz kept her distance from the other lodgers and wore gowns. And there was enough food on the table and it wasn't always the same. Sometimes I can't get my memory to go back further than the night of the fall. Oh, new things. Christmas preparations were different. Before the fall, Horatio and Grizz were less comfortable together. I want to learn more about Grizz, to be honest, and what her whole deal is. Oh, after the fall, there was a time when I didn't go to dinner. I don't care about that. What a remarkable painting, Mrs. Chapman. You're kind to say so. Also, should we be this zoomed in? I don't know. They were stiff with each other back in those days. Okay, good. Yeah, no, Grizz in a dress seems very wrong. Grizz always talked as though she wished she was somewhere else. And she didn't have trousers yet. The lion's expression is very amiable. Dark joke, dark joke. I wouldn't say amiable. Perhaps drugged. Do you think opium prevents lions from biting? It is not opium, it is divine grace. The painting depicts the peaceable kingdom. The lion shall lie down with a lamb, and a little child shall lead him. Scripture. It's not Leviticus, that's the book with all the people to death. Isaiah! The painting was a gift to my father from Quaker friends. Yeah, no, Grizz in a dress. Don't care for it. Let's go. But where we go? There's nothing I can do back in... I mean, it doesn't look like it's even really Flute Street yet. That's after London's had a lot more influence on it. So I can talk to David. I can also talk to David here. I mean, asking the servants is usually a good way to go. Ask Phoebe how Archie and David interacted. Consider what impression this will make. No, I should probably change. I mean, we're not on ministry business, but also I think we should try and keep it serious. Kotal says I offer pastoral comfort and I'm willing to face dark truths. I like to think these things are both true. Totally thought we were talking to a faceless person for a second. No, that is a mannequin.
Are you here to see me, then? I don't receive visitors as a rule.
Wow, my brain has apparently lost the concept of Irish. Look, it's fall in London.
Fair. And if I did, they'd be meant to visit in the kitchen, I think. I'd better go for a walk if you want to talk with me. Started coming out here for walks while Mr. Landau was dead. Rachel said there was no point in visiting the grave, but I liked it. Made me feel like I could talk to him.
But can I ask questions? Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about the murder? After an oddly scheduled meeting? Well, that seems like the perfect kind when this vibe is around. So, yeah. See you if you're back, or later.
There are some things I don't understand. I don't think they want me to. David and Rachel, I mean. Is David answering your questions? Not yet. You could have lied. But I was hoping you would. Insist Archie is innocent. You know, really get that ginger solidarity. The wrong person's accused. I've got an ox standing on my tongue, as my ma used to say. No, it wasn't very nice. I'd rather not talk about it. I have the option to ask again. You sure you won't speak to me about the murder? For the law? It's for the sake of the law. Won't somebody please think of the law? I see. Harjit did ask me to. Oh, did he? A quiet tongue shows a wise head. I said I wouldn't. Okay, but really. Not every truth needs speaking at every moment. I said I wouldn't. Okay, fine. If I craft new theories of what happened, I can always come back and ask more, possibly. Even if there are only questions with certain pieces left unknown. There's a brief lull in the conversation. I wonder whether I could ask a favour. Could I come with you to visit your friend Archibald? I mean, I haven't yet. I'd like to know what to expect before the trial. Alright. I have no other appointments. Hello, friend I've totally come to see before. I brought Phoebe with me. Why would you be here then, Miss Riley? I say you meant to visit prisoners. It's good work. Might be if you come to bring 'em cheer. But if you're here to squawk at me about the wrong I did the land house. You don't think you could have done it by accident, then? Just a little mistake with the matter of the dosing. I've thought it over time and again, lass. Do you think you're the first to ask me? Guess at Phoebe's intent. What's our guesses like? I imagine she's worried someone else did it. So she'd rather it was you, Archie, by mistake, if need be. I'm only trying to understand what happened. Same as the rest of you. I've been thinking all this was to get me out of London. Someone killed David in order to get you out of the way. They did like to give themselves the long way round, didn't they? Aye, to hide their true intentions. Ah, you're as good as the play. You should come and see my mistress. She's always needing a plot, and the stranger the better. Tisn't long until dinner is served. Just snap back to home. I'll take my coat off, I guess. You know how it is when dinner is served and you just teleport to the table from wherever you are. Ah, friend. There's a newcomer to the house. Oh, we are friends now. Thought you were a bit about that. Try not to assume the worst. You look solemn, Horatio. The last time was when you told us the supply of cheese had run out. Truly a monstrous fate. I know we've had a happy little group here, but the time had come. I've taken in a new lodger. I am doing my best to get Archie sent home. You haven't yet, and we don't know how long it will take. No, but I don't think it's time to give up and move on. But were you advertising? I'm surprised. We haven't had many asking to lodge here since February. Arjit brought him around. I had my doubts about that. You should also know he's a clay man, he calls it. Yes.
Sickos.jpg once again. Love the clays. Looks like a statue, but he's polite. And clothes before you get any notions. Cool. Oh, I see.
Even if he's the most well-behaved statue you've ever met, it's a risk. It'll draw attention, and I don't see the need. Everything we do reflects on Archie now.
I need someone who can do for me outside the house. Why haven't you noticed that I can't go outside anymore? No, I had not. Yeah, you are continuing to grow into your house, I see.
That is, I know you don't go out much. I suppose the last time I saw you go out was to the graveyard.
That was like 2 days ago. I don't anymore. I do not step through our front door. But the trade is, I can promise you our new lodger won't do anything I don't know about. Again, Horatio, you know a lot about this situation. Like, I guess that growing into a house in arcane legalist ways probably gives you a certain threshold of revelation. But at the same time,
forgive my clumsy interpolation into your domestic idyll. I wish to make myself known to you. I am...
He makes a noise, like rain running down limestone.
I believe the best translation is Moss. I hope to learn more about this new city. It is very different from my native Polythreme.
Quieter. What's Polythreme like, Mr. Moss?
It is an island far across the sea, or indeed the sea. Everything has a voice there. My king, he of 100 hearts, reigns over us all. It is often harmonious. There is very little screaming.
Silence isn't the same as peace. But I'll take your word for it on the moment. For the moment. I hope you find rest here.
If rest is indeed all Mr. Moss is looking for.
Encourage him to be a help to Horatio, make a joke to defuse the situation, comment admiringly on Moss's form, suddenly realise what relationship I want with Moss. I mean, not to stereotype myself as the woman who wants to bone all of the Eldritch Horrors in the Neath. Except Pages, because he's a dweeb. Not. And no, it's not just not Pages. Like, Iron would be a bad idea. I mean, many things I do would be a bad idea, and yet I do them. This is the way. We'll have use for your strength, Mr. Moss.
In Polythreme, my chief function was as an adornment.
Oh, you're designed to be hot. Got it.
The shovels, hoists, and pillars would have taken my attempts to assist very dimly. Then, I suppose you are made of meat.
You can't just tell someone they're made of meat.
Very fine meat, I might add.
Okay, you can continue to tell me I'm made of meat.
But in comparison, I can see how you might think me strong.
What motivates a clay man to reside in a boarding house in the first instance? I assume you neither eat nor sleep. The accommodations would seem to be of little value to you.
Griselda!
No, it is an honest question. This seems a happy place.
Also, you know, Horatia's becoming symbiotic with the house, so it's basically alive, so it must be very much like home. He makes a sound like water flowing through the spout of a gargoyle. it sounds much like that. I have no idea if that will have got through the noise filter. Why do I do these things?
Oh, I was not made for deceit. The king did not fashion these lips for lies. I sought a man in the previous city. I did not find him. I believe he was at odds with the Khans.
The who? No, the Khans. No, different band.
I have heard they call themselves masters now. They style themselves after their latest acquisition. But the man is gone, and everything has changed. I hope to find my place and my purpose once more.
Support Horatio, be charitable, support Chris and express reservations, or take his side. We're not always so intrusive into other people's affairs.
In Polythreme, we are always in union. Polyphony makes a pleasant change. I was looking for someone in the last city. Yours falling came as a surprise.
There, you see? Mr. Moss requires his rest. I'm not sure that's what he said.
I have no wish to be a burden. In Polythreme, what the king wishes to occur, occurs. But there are 3 of you. I will wait for you to reach an accord.
I can't even play the accord.
I require respite rather than shelter. It will not be an undue inconvenience if I am better to look elsewhere.
And he is meant to keep us safe, is he?
If I were a housebreaker, I'd give him a wide berth. Besides, I just said he considered it his obligation to help Mr. Moss find a home. It was a good deed to place him here.
If Harger thinks the deed makes up for arresting Archie, I have some questions about the moral accounting.
Not everyone tallies their good and bad deeds in a double-entry ledger book, Lady Griselda. Whatever the ministry may have told you. He's right. If we are all to rub along here, you will need to be comfortable with our new lodger. You live here just as much as I do. I don't know. Is it just as much as you do when one of us is, actually becoming the same organism as the house?
I think you're likely to be outvoted, Horatio. No one has a better heart than you. But we must think of Archie. We court suspicion and perhaps the master's anger. If Archie were here, I'd say different.
Nah, I'm into it though. I think we have room for one more. Ah, I shall go and tell Mr. Moss the good news. And let him know he has you to thank.
On your heads be it if this goes awry. I'll do what I can to smooth things over if the ministry involves itself.
Moss and the King. A shape coalesces in the attic. What? Or more accurately, looms. Oh, hello, you're in my bedroom.
I am sorry if I startled you. I hoped we might become better acquainted. And I have several questions regarding my tenancy here. I would have asked the others, but Mrs. Chapman was dozing, and Miss Smith told me she was engaged in important business. I did not realize business constituted the imbibing of wine.
I mean, historically, yeah, that's usually been fairly... The Venn diagram of that in business is basically a circle.
And I have much to learn. Do let me know when I make an error of etiquette. I am sure there shall be many.
Suggest I'm more than happy to make light. Tell him he is unwelcome here. No, I'm into this. Again, not to be that woman, but not to not be that woman. I live for surprise guests. Wow, that's a sweeping statement that will come back to bite us.
Oh dear. I hope you are not regularly interrupted. I am always available if required. I've noticed Londoners are averse to poor behavior when I am present. I cannot think why. I am afraid I did have a question. In Polythreme, a king rang a hollow bronze chime to summon us when required. His favoured servants all bear his own image, so both our station and our duties are clear to all. I'm afraid I find the etiquette here more confusing. I hoped you could explain my duties. As a lodger in Mrs. Chapman's guest house.
Well, she has been saying she needs chores. Mrs. Chapman does not leave the house. If you can service her messenger outside, that would assist her.
I had noted her affinity with the building. It is a relationship I have not observed in Polythreme. All the same, more like home than most things in Londinium. This seems in line with my expectations. I had one last question, forgive me. I wondered your thoughts on my behavior thus far. I hope to be well liked here, if you could advise me.
While someone else, follow what everyone else is doing, or laugh. Wow, these are all bad options. We can spin the laugh. I chuckle as though it were a clever joke to even to ask.
Ah, I see I have offended.
No!
Forgive my intrusion. I have much yet to learn.
He makes a noise like a pebble falling into a well.
Good night, as they seem to say here. A phrasing that confuses me. It is always night here.
There was not a good option there. Maybe it was because I was wearing the wrong clothes. But then I had no space to prepare for that, so, I don't know. $2.92. 6 days remain in the season of Yule. We got Yule. I get to the morning newspaper after Grizz is done with it. Oh hey, it's snowing. Snowy. The headlines today read, Pilot playwright's latest piece prescribed, indicted as infernal indoctrination. Somebody just wanted to... Headline writers, are you okay? It continues in that vein. Threnodies of Belgrave aggravates audience, arouses anarchy. Threnodies of Belgrave sounds pretty great. Like, that sounds like a play I'd watch. Oh, I've got Christmas cards. Wait, you can't... Can you... Christmas cards. Got some holly. Got an exceptional hat. Got Big Ben before they threw it in a river. I want to change this. I want to go with... someone. Question of identity. Unknown methods. See, this... This seems to make sense if he was selling things and then wanted to get out of it by dying. Or just had no choice. Unknown purpose. Fight about fair? A nameless individual did not think as humans do. What? That's what we're giving for unknown purpose. A vengeful blow on behalf of the customs office. Oh. Again, I feel like we're gaming it a bit much to just plug things together and see what other text gets added in. Nameless individual did not think as humans do. David had unspecified desires. I mean, if it sold contraband, then probably hoped for wealth. A nameless individual went to the market and returned with something utterly unidentifiable. Thinking only of wealth, David provided the contraband a nameless individual needed, something tainted. A nameless individual decided to strike a vengeful blow on behalf of the customs office. Slipped David a dose of terrible poison. David died. Powerless. This is interesting. Let's go with that being a working theory, and now let's have a flashback. God, that story crafting system has depth. Reach for another memory. Crisp preparations, or another one of them being less comfortable together. Or after the fall, there was a time I didn't go to dinner. Yeah, let's have the Christmas moment. Here on the 13th of June. Nearing the longest and hottest days of the year. What morbid thing are you reading now? It's the Illustrated London News. That's worse. What they got this time? Engravings of the latest executions? The crowd gathered to see the deaths? Horatio shares our views on true crime weirdos. Would it be? I haven't been to a public execution since Judgment Day. I thought we were thinking about Christmas preparations. Some of the bits of this, like this game, has very clearly just recently come out, and some of the bits get a little jank sometimes. Just bits don't quite hang together. It's the Queen with Prince Albert and the children and a Christmas tree. Oh, they're sending that round again, are they? Okay, so now we are talking about Christmas. Then, this I recall, she took the picture and put it up in the frame of a mirror for decoration. That was a very strange memory we just had. Okay, let's go, I guess. Ah, we can go back to the warrants. Screw the murder mystery. See whether Bachi Chin needs anything. Take the census with the robberies. Yes. Absolutely. Consider what impression this will make on Bachi Khan. Should I change? If I'm going to do the census, I should probably wear the badge. Just, you know, on principle. This is a thing I'd seen reviews saying is just, Jesus, there's a lot going on under the hood on this game. Ah, you decided to come back. We took a bet. I said he'd frightened you away. But Khan disagreed. But Khan makes a series of smug honks. I explain my task as well as I can. Flirt, 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 flirt. Does your household consist only of yourself, incidentally? He makes a series of lonely hoots.
We are together here alone. The first of his kind in London, and I the last of mine. We make do, as you are fond of saying here.
Heat things up further! Ah, I'm the worst. Perhaps you say it's no concern of mine, but I find I am deeply curious about whether you're already committed to anyone. He makes a series of diffident honks. Some seem to indicate Bachijin.
He lacks the requisite vocabulary. I believe the rubbery men consider themselves a choir or a chorus. The word commingling is used.
What is it? Do you remember how we came to this place and sang of our... I should know this quote. It's a little, like, rhyming quatrain that they use. Sang of us something in our shameful disgrace. You welcomed us then, and something your spires, and something and commingled all choirs. It's like I say, it's a little quatrain that gets used a lot. I don't know why that has just appeared on my other screen. Got distracted there. It's a quatrain they use a lot in Fallen London that kind of elliptically refers to when the things that made the robberies came to London in the first place, or came to the Neath in the first place, from, and this is a spoiler if you don't know some very deep Fallen London lore, it's just explicitly from space. They're from another planet. Or at least, like I say, the things that made the robberies themselves were made here. I believe. I mean, it's possible there'll be a bigger Fallen London superfan in the comments to tell me how I'm wrong about everything, but please do, we call that engagement. We take those. What did I just click on? It wasn't the game, that's for damn sure.
I hope you do not wish for me to contemplate this subject further.
Lament the current lack of commingling in your life. Game, why would you read me like this? To commingle. Just gonna start texting people on apps, what up, you down to commingle? I'm sorry, I just find something very funny about to commingle. That's got me. It's very warm. My brain does not work well in the warm. But also mood.
It praises your abstinence. It is a rubbery virtue.
The wiggle of Patacha Khan's tentacles suggests he praises no such thing. Bachichin's just like, please, let me not be in this conversation anymore.
They are kin. The distinction between one and the next dissolves. Memory is shared. Friend, sibling, spouse, ancestor. These terms don't mean to them what they mean to us.
An interest in the intensity of the connection, envy for that sense of connection, or disgust? Well, not that. I mean, to be many in one. To be many in one.
That is a crude understanding. I did not say it was entirely wrong either. For us it is as to experience the many while remaining one. For them it is
more bird-meable. Batacha Khan makes a lonely, trilling hoot, as though to say he's been one for too long. What is the state of your own heart? Do you have a spouse or lover? Write down that there are no alliances worth recording. It will be true enough. Alright. Batacha Khan hoots appreciatively and produces a piece of slate. Another tentacle holds a piece of chalk. Batacha Chin reluctantly takes the chalk and slate while Batacha Khan gestures. The slate reads, Greeblings! How can you expect me not to love this strange squid man who has just given us such delightful Greeblings? A pause. Scribbling. Many Greeblings. There's further scribbling. Conveyance of many Greeblings. Today? Where's the voice? Conveyance of many... No, because that's going a little bit more radio announcer. God, have I lost that voice I used to do? Conveyance of many Greeblings. Today? That's the one. Requested friend, partner, enemy, Badgerin, Essence Gather. No, we're going radio announcer again. We'll workshop it. Romance barter, merchant dreams, trade coin want. Insisted. Means the market. Wait, let me go back and pass that. Requested friend, partner, enemy, Butchin. Essence Gather. Commerce barter, merchant dreams, trade coin want. Right, so he wants Butchin to go upstairs to buy things. Requested perpetrate commingling. Already we are being requested to perpetrate commingling. There's further frantic scribbling. Admixture essences require proceed commercially become. So we need to buy things for the vats. Chalk snaps. Oh, for the sake of heaven, I told you this would happen. It took me days to scrimp up enough to let the wretched woman consider letting me have it. Batacha Khan makes plaintive, plangent honking noises with increased intensity. No, I cannot go and fetch another. If you would have allowed me to translate for myself. We have functioned admirably these last centuries. Why you wish to change the arrangement is beyond me. Off to buy more chalk? Suggest he wasn't very coherent anyway, I'll let them argue. We can help. We have 5 shiny cursed pennies. I could fetch more chalk. Batacha Khan makes a hopeful honk. Out of the question, and we won't go back to that woman cap in hand. Wasn't asking you to. The chalk always snaps, and Batacha Khan has yet to grasp the fundamentals of your grammar. And your etiquette. Better he receive further instruction from me before we make a second attempt. We sense the city out there is not yet ready for our emergence. Not yet. Batacha Khan is keen. Too keen. His tentacles are like roots making for the surface. I have advocated caution. But you are the first personage to encounter us. What do you think? Am I incorrect? Caution is preferable. Others of an uncanny nature are already in London, or suggest they'll need to manage like everyone else. I mean, we've already got devils and clays. Talking cats. I mean, they'll be racist to you. But that's because they're random British people. devils walk the streets of London. I've met a clay man myself. He was more polite.
I am familiar with both. The devils, well, let us say their neutrality in political matters is not to be deceived. Not to be believed even, that would make more sense. The clay men are admirable laborers. I discussed philosophy with one as the scriptoria were rebuilt. He called himself unfinished. He seemed finished to me. Perhaps it is a state of perpetual enlightenment.
I mean, that's not traditionally what the unfinished men are seen as, but go, you do you.
But both groups you will concur are more human than our friend Batach Khan. The problem is that he has a request. He has a purpose to go ahead to prepare the path.
Literally made as an ambassador is what you're telling me, so shouldn't we let him ambassador?
For the others, they wait below. I owe them a debt for my own safeguarding when I left the Fourth to its ruin.
Assume the worst of this mission or ask what the others are. That's more interesting.
They're like and unlike him. Our Batachi Khan is singular. But he represents many waiting in the amber warrens below. They have not always been treated kindly. I myself was unkind. When they emerge, they hope Batachi Khan's work will have gone forward.
Tachi Khan makes a series of frantic burbles.
Oh, for goodness sake. He has something for you, a piece of amber from the vats. I would undertake this task myself, but Batachi Khan fears I will upset someone.
I mean, can't imagine why.
Baseless accusation, but since my impeccable service is in question, we would like to ask you.
Batachi Khan makes a strangled, keening noise.
A stall holder. Oh, he wants you to give the amber to someone who owns a place of commerce.
Okay, but question mark? You assume I'm familiar with that. Batachi Khan makes a series of sibilant, high-pitched squeaks.
It is, we would say spirit, but it's not that. It is resinous, that is attuned to the essence of those it comes into contact with. Like leaving a fingerprint in warm clay. It's how I was found when the city fell. He remembered me.
Why, thank you. Take the amber in my hand. Oddly warm to the touch. Clammy. I mean, I am also that right now.
It's important that the amber be delivered to one of a mercantile orientation. I hope you do not mean that dreadful costermonger at the market. I refuse to translate your speech for her. I don't know nearly enough insults in this tongue.
Batachi Khan makes a series of indignant honks. Also, do you mean Ivy? Don't insult Ivy, we like her.
Oh, very well, someone vaguely successful. Don't ask me why, I don't understand it myself. They need to hold the amber. Then bring it back here.
Give Batachi Khan's amber to a shopkeeper, then bring it back. Batachi Khan makes a series of frenetic, wordling noises.
Ah, yes, he wishes you to have one for yourself as well.
Ooh! Amber brooch. Token of robbery kind and an expression of commitment to the Neath. Surface? What surface? Now there's a mood! God, this game knows me.
Now, if you'll find your own way out. I picked up an amusing novel at the markets. It's about a very enterprising young lady named Audley.
She is full of moral fibre. I am keen to return to it. Is that is this a real book? Ah, that rings a bell. Women called Audley in books. Not that I can see. Alistair Audley series? I have no idea. Not something I know. It's time to run another errand, but it won't be as cool. Yes, I just about have time to run one more errand myself. Putting on our robbery badge. Perhaps I've abandoned London garb and dressed myself only in the fashion of robbery folk. Every door will be closed to me, but that'll be interesting. The coat says I offer pastoral comfort and willing to face dark truths. As for the brooch, the tentacles are only visible when one comes close. I mean, that's the way I dress. Wait, what if we have been given the stuff already and it's Ivy because she could have sold our technical cloth? Powerless David died, a glorious shade of green. You know what? I'm gonna lock that in for now. Can I go and talk to her about it? Look into her goods for sale, take the amber to her, or confront her about her possible motives to kill David. Sure, let's do some actual investigation. Investigation. Nah, it doesn't work. The risk of going to see Ivy Hatless is that she may very well try and sell me a new one. I'm fine with that. Could always use a new hat. Yeah, she was the one that was meant to be Cockney, but didn't end up that way.
Good Yule, miss. I trust you and your people are surviving.
The amber brooch suggests I'm here on someone's business, even if it doesn't say whose. Yes, nobody has ever worn a brooch for themselves. Questions? I had a question or two for you.
Where I come from, we don't inform for free. You want me to remember something? Cost you tuppence.
Fine. Fair enough. I hear you were at the Landau townhouse the day David died.
So I was. Not that I knew it was his last day at the time.
And she's valid? Oh, yeah, Ivy is incredibly valid. I mean, it's possible that she's also a murderer, but still valid.
I was there to refurbish one or two of Rachel's gowns for her. It used to be your Rachel Landaus would never have their old gowns made over. But new cloth's dearer than hen's teeth now.
Hot take, some murderers are valid. I mean, you didn't see David while you were there?
He was resting, not well enough to receive visitors. I did see Archie arrive. He might have left his bag of medicines unwatched for a time. But that's not what I was there for, was it?
But you had no reason to kill him off yourself.
I don't give secrets. I sell them. There'd be nothing in it for me. Unless you think I'm such a disliked gentleman that I'm clearing them out underneath.
I mean, disliked gentleman is literally a motive we have available. Do you know who killed David?
No one's made me a confession of his murder. If that's what you're asking.
Murder is a legal term and is frequently used to punish victims of long-term violence defending themselves, ergo some murderers are valid. You're not wrong.
Not sure what I'd do if they had. I've been listening to secrets people want to be rid of. Heard of an old Neath ritual of Hallowmas, and I thought it'd be a quick money spinner. But quite a few dark things came in.
Nobody's made a confession if that's what you're asking. It's not.
I don't care to be giving away every confession I heard.
Do you have any suspects? Is there anyone else in the household you would suspect?
You're determined it can't have been the doctor then? There are one or two feuds in that house, but none that I'd see take this course.
Did David have any enemies?
Well, the world knows the answer to that. Rachel Landau put him in a novel, didn't she? Him and his duke Charlotte and her new husband Lord Carringham. She has no idea of the value of a secret, that Rachel.
Condemn Rachel, condemn Ivy, or laugh? Laugh! Nah. She's so wiggly. I mean, yeah, I laugh knowingly.
It's a joke and a scandal at the same time. Lord Carringham's been suffering from the whispers in his circle.
I mean, whomst among us hasn't had to take the day off work because they had whispers in their circle?
All about how his pretty young wife, Jewish as was, pining in her heart for the man she used to love. Now she regrets her wedding to a chinless Christian stick. All the while Charlotte's telling her how loyal and faithful and true she is to her lord and master. She's dressing to catch the eye of half the men who pass.
I mean, the men who don't pass are also valid.
And what's more, she's setting me to carry letters secretly to David Landau, telling him she's still in love with him.
Excuse me? You gave that one away for free?
Begging him for a moment to speak. Time came and I told Lord Carringham the truth. Not very long before David's death, that would have been.
Question I would suggest I would have done the same, or press the question of whether Carringham killed David. Why would you do that?
Charlotte couldn't pay so much for my silence as he could pay for my speech. He'd been troubling himself with rumours and whispers.
She's trying to catch the eye of men who pass, as in she's into undead.
Set his mind to clarity. Carringham isn't a man for taking his own back. We'd liver in that man. When I showed him the copies of her letters, off he goes sick. Cast up his accounts right there with me in the room. And then he says he's sorry for his wife. Sorry for her. And what must he do but take her away, quick as may be, so she won't be tormented anymore? Or tempted to break the vows she made at the altar or at the font. That was a treasure he found, that phrase for Charlotte's honour. Once he hit upon it, he kept saying it.
Lamau rich people. I laugh knowingly.
The joke of it faded afterward. Well, let that be. You've had your tuppence worth, I think.
Okay, but can I also give you this amber? No. Horatio will be setting up the food now, I guess. Let's just go to the table. Ooh, I have all of these possible ideas. Made honest mistake sounds useful. Was hired by someone rich sounds useful. I don't want them. He's trying to be kind. They're an abomination unto the Lord. More importantly, an abomination unto me.
Can't you make her see sense? Our new
lodger is making horrid dolls for reasons best known to himself.
Clay versions of us.
Please make him stop doing it. Okay, but...
And where exactly is my clay me?
I think he's working on it.
Mine was sweet. Though it made me look terribly fierce.
Mine had the most outrageous wig.
I mean, you have very big hair.
I think he means to make an army.
They're not like him. They don't move.
Yet.
I mean, knowing what I do with Claymen, you'll be fine. Because they don't have heart shards. And it's not like you're going to be able to get more in London. Moss is surrounded by a profusion of little Claymen.
Oh. I'm sorry, yours is not ready.
Flirt, 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 flirt. Are you courting, Moss?
I have not been a courtier for some time. Oh. Not as such. But I am glad they are finding favour. I remember my king in his marble palace. His garden of statues, all made in his image. I thought the other residents here would appreciate a similar gesture.
Okay, but they are creeping people out. Can I work on that? They could be a little less lifelike.
That is their genius. But you know the others better. I will take advisement.
There! Hello? In the parlour on the way up for bed. God, things just keep happening. We're meant to be finishing. I just want to get to the end of this day. I find an unexpected guest. How many centuries? You're looking well for it, I must say.
I slept through a significant amount of it. And I'm told resin is an excellent preservative.
Well, not every day I meet someone from Mongolia, let alone also being over 100 years old. Not that I meet many people these days. But I am glad you're not involved in that business in the basement.
Cellars are best for wine and iron, and not connected by doors.
I shall bear this in mind. Ah, I'll leave you two to it.
So, this is where you live. The decor is noisy. I feel an ache of the head coming on.
What, you just came up from underground specifically to insult our house?
But preferable to noisome caverns dripping with amber.
Again, just opened the conversation with a random existential remark. I can't imagine the roofs would keep out the damp long.
That is why you should use copper and marble. Like a real city. But I did not solely come to disparage your inferior village. I wish to talk to you alone. This seemed the most reasonable means of achieving that. It is Batachi Khan's request regarding the amber. It is important that the amber is returned so we may gather the essences. Batachi Khan has fixated upon the commercial enterprises in the city. I do not mind indulging his whims, but the goal is to effect a peaceable and rubbery introduction to Londinium. Nothing more.
Okay, but you're being evasive. You came all this way to tell me what the task is again.
My point is a simple one and one I thought obvious. I am his interpreter, not you. I have lost everything and remained at his side. I wandered in the dark. I learned the arts of shaping the variations of amber and the nature of its kin. I and I alone have communed with the things in the dark below the vats. I have rambled enough. Suggest she is jealous. She's basically explicitly said she's jealous. You can't bear that someone else understands him? Ha! I welcome the attempt. Someone else to listen to his wheezes and gurgles, the fleshy opening of places in his body to emit inexcusable sounds. To be tapped with tentacles, cajoled into inane games, riddles, and speculation. Year after year of having him attempt to find food for you, gamely chewing on the rubbery things he finds. No, you are welcome to him. I apologize if I am abrupt with you, but I barely know you. Our acquaintance has not made me desire to know you better. Thus far. Perhaps if you show us you can be trusted with this matter of the amber, then we may have more faith in each other. And I shall feel less of a need to protect my... Well, I shall intrude no further. Good day. Long day. Okay, let's review the day in our journal. Can I get to the menu from here? Can't get to the menu from here. Let's go to sleep. I just want to stop playing. 293 days since the fall. 5 days remain in the season of Yule. Continue. As usual, I resort to the morning papers. Headlines today read: Swedish sailor's mission offers aid. Sustenance to squid-faced man. And if you don't know what the Zeds are about, go play Sun the Sea. Cool. Right, I can finally stop. But before I do, because we saw an achievement come up, I want to check out what sigil we got for that. This one, I think. Yeah, the weight that pulls all under. This sigil can be interpreted as parlous loyalty, or the introduction of impermanence in a permanent place. So it's entropy, is what that is. Stretch and hydrate. Yes, as I do the wrap-up. Thank you all for being here. This game is rad, even if it's a little bit... It's got so much going on that it's honestly not surprising that some of the bits don't quite hold together mechanically. And I know they're patching it, like, regularly still, so... But it's rad. Yes, so, thank you for being here. Thanks for staying to the end, genuinely means a lot. If you've been watching, you know where to find me, but just in case, this is twitch.tv/Saracent, that's SERASENT, the House of Hubris. Streaming here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 2 PM British time, that is 9 AM Eastern, 6 Pacific. Other time zones are available, but you can do the maths there. Or if you can't, why not give us a follow and get notified whenever I'm around. If you do miss it, then VODs are available on the Twitch for 8 weeks after the fact. For everything else, you can go to the YouTube. Link is down there, says YouTube or Video Archive or something of the like. Still haven't checked. Yeah, and that's got things going all the way back to the very start of the channel. It's like 2.5 years now, which is a lot. And yeah, we've played lots of games. You should be able to find something you like, and if not, let us know what would be. While you're there, why not subscribe? Doesn't cost you anything, and means you get hot, fresh VODs in your subscription feed every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. What else do I normally say here? Ah, yes, if you want to support me trying to have sex with all the monsters of the Neath monetarily, then you also have issues, but we do accept cheers and subscriptions on Twitch. But you very much don't need to. Just turn up and hang out and be chill and be good to each other, and then everyone's having a good time, especially the monsters. If you want to find me elsewhere, my Twitter, link is down there. It says Twitter. That one I do know. Or it's Twitter at House of Hubris. Yeah, it is. I just had to stop and remember if that was actually my Twitter. It is. Where you can find me doing memes and stream announcements and anything else I have coming up. Of which there's currently nothing public, but exciting things are in the pipeline, trust me. I think that's it, which is good, because I have 30 seconds until this automatically plays an ad break. So, love you all. Thanks for being here with me again as we make our way through newly fallen London. And we'll see you again for more of that on Thursday. Alright. Love you all. See you later.